Welcome back to Man the Helm. Today we are going to talk about how we can utilize the chords within the major scale. If you guys are new to the channel, please make sure you hit that like, subscribe, comment down below, and get me learned on anything that I say wrong. I really appreciate it. But to start off this video, we talked about in a previous video the major scale. I'll have that linked up somewhere over here so you guys can check it out if you'd like. But if you guys don't know, the major scale is comprised of 7 notes with a interval spacing that always stays the same regardless of where you start from. But for this lesson, we're going to play C major. Okay, so if we were trying to find C major on the neck, anywhere we have a C will work just fine, but I'm going to play it on the 8th fret of my low E string. If I were to go through the major scale, I have C, a whole step, up to D, a whole step, up to E, a half step, to F, whole step to G, whole step to A, whole step to B, and then I have a half step back to my root or C, where we started from. Now, taking that and making it more than just, I don't know, just a page 1 Melbay lesson real quick, we can utilize these notes and these intervals between these notes to actually play chords that are within that C major scale. This is a very basic introduction to maybe something you've heard like the Nashville number system, where we assign numbers instead of chord names. Makes it a little bit easier once you kind of understand the basis of it to change keys really quickly. But we're not here to do that. We're here to talk about the chords that we utilize in the major scale. This one being in C. The first one is very self-explanatory. We played a C major scale. So the first chord that is going to be our 1 chord, or that first note that we hit, will be a C major. If we look at the next note we hit, we have a D. We have a D minor as our 2 chord. The third note we hit was E. That one also is going to be minor. So far, first 3 chords of the C major scale. We have a C major, a D minor, and an E minor. From that E, we go up that half step to that F. Here we're going to play an F major. From F, we go up a full step to G, G major. From G, we go up another whole step to A, and we're going to play A minor. So the first 6 chords of our major scale in C are going to be C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, and A minor. The 7th chord that we have, this is the one where it kind of falls a little weird, that most people aren't used to playing these types of chord. We're going to have that 7th note that we hit is going to be that B. We're going to play a diminished note. And it resolves really well back into C. So the pattern that we have, just like we did with our intervals, where we go root, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half to play that major scale, we also have a pattern that goes with our major and minor chords that we play within that scale. So if we were to play that again, we have major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, back to our root, major. So those are the chords that are in the C major scale. Now, why is this important and how can we utilize this outside of just like, okay, well, I know what chords to play now? Well, let's say, for instance, we start to kind of just dip our toes into the Nashville number system. A very common chord progression that you've probably heard before is that 1-4-5 chord progression. So let's say we're playing in C, and I said, hey, we're going to play in C in a 1-4-5 for this verse of this song. Well, you know right off the bat, you have C, which is our 1. We go up 2, 3, 4. Well, F, that's our 4. And then 5 is our G. Remember from that pattern, we have a C major, our 2, minor, D minor, our 3, E minor, our 4, F major, and our 5, G major. So if we're playing a 1-4-5 chord progression, we have C major, F major, and G. Let's say we're jamming along on that, we're having a great time, and I say, hey, there's a pre-chorus. We're going to go 6, 3, 4, 5. Just one time. Well, you know now that my 6th chord, so if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, A, your 3 chord, 1, 2, 3, E, 4, F, 5, G. So now we have you can start to utilize this. You can start to kind of mess around and you can realize like, wow, there's only these 7 chords that I can utilize. Not only, but these are the main 7 chords that I can utilize within this scale. And I can start to communicate a little bit more effectively. Maybe you have a key change. Maybe that same chord progression. Let's take that 1-4-5. The singer's like, oh man, I don't like the way my voice sounds in C. I really like the way I sing it in G. Okay, well, we take that same idea, but now we go to G as our root. We know G, our 1, is going to be major. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. C, we know that one's going to be major. 5, we know that one's going to be major. So now we have that verse that we just played, that 1-4-5 progression, but now in G. Now, just like the major scale in the interval between the notes, these patterns of chords that we have of this major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, back to our root, are never going to change regardless of what key we play in. It's like I said, this is just kind of like dipping our toes into the water, not really a very in-depth lesson, but just to give you guys an understanding of what people mean when they say, oh, we need to play the 1 chord here, or oh, we need to play the 6th chord here. Something like that. It's very useful. You have, let's say you have a riff, you kind of have a decent idea of what key it's in. Now I can revert back to being all like, okay, I know this riff, it ends really well on C major, but I don't have anything else to go with this riff. What can I do? Well, now you have the 7 chords that you can utilize very easily and effectively throughout that song to make it a complete song. If you guys liked this lesson, please like this video, comment down below. Even if you hated it too, comment that down below too. I always love to know when I'm messed up and I don't know what I'm talking about. Get me learned, so to speak. But that's going to be it for today. If you guys enjoy this kind of video, please consider subscribing, and I will check y'all on the next video.